Okay, I'll stop this training just for a minute. My name's Jay Devon and I want to share plenty of things to help everyone to be happier on the court. All right, no. Okay, I'm back. Today's video is about coaching on the tennis court being allowed in the professional tennis. So they've been doing this for the women and trialing it. Now they're trialing it for the men. And the problem is that when they're trialing it, it just means that they're trying to softly put this over now, but their plan is to make it as a thing that happens all the time and forever after, which would be totally terrible, because I call it legal cheating, because in the past they've always been making it that the coaching whilst they're doing a match is illegal. So now that they're legalizing cheating, and the worst part about it is that they're saying that this will help achieve consistency. Consistency? You mean that we let everybody cheat, right? Is that a solution? I don't think so. Okay, so what happens there? You know, if it's a singles match, doesn't that mean 1 against 1? What happens when it's the trophy? You know, put Jay Devon and 5 or 6 other people who are all shouting at me what I should do, and I can go talk to them and they can signal to me the whole time. Are we going to include everybody's name on is it going to fit? It's singles, right? It's 1 against 1. It's tennis, meritocracy. Who's the better player on the day? Not better team and coaches and everybody, the better player. Okay, so if you've seen the other part, I'll put the other part down here, the link to the first part about how I don't think that coaching should be allowed on court while they're doing professional tennis. And I was only talking about the women's game because at that stage it was only being trialed for the women's tennis. So this one is now that they're doing this for the men. So, you know, there's a lot of complications here. It's like getting sifted in. And the other really big point that the ATP is trying to talk about that's make it a valid reason why they should allow this illegal coaching to be legal is that they're saying that it will increase fan engagement. Increase fan engagement, really? If the players are getting signaled to by their coach and their box and their team and are being able to hear and do instructions, and they're actually going to put them in an easier place to hear and speak to each other as the games go on, that's now begun like a fishbowl. The player and the coach or the team of coaches, they're going to be only going back and fro from each other. They're going to be totally ignoring the crowd because, hey, is the crowd, are they paying the crowd a lot of money and getting valuable advice on how they're going to win this match right now from the crowd, or are they getting it from the coaching team? So for me, I think that it's going to decrease fan engagement a lot. Okay, one way that you could increase fan engagement will be the coaches to not be allowed to be in the court at all to get rid of the illegal coaching is just remove them entirely. So there's no way possible they can speak or signal to the player or engage with the player in any way. They should be somewhere else inside the stadium where they can be watching you know, and there's plenty of nice places where they can have a screen and they can be watching the game and taking notes on, you know, what's their player doing well, what's their player need to improve on, anything that they're going to do in training or do in preparation for the next match or over the course of the next month. They can be doing all that already. Of course, that means in that situation, then you could actually have somebody talking or going to interview the coach of the player, the physical trainer of the player, the mental coach of the player, and ask them something really interesting that all the people watching can hear. Then that's increasing the engagement with the people and the viewers. Okay, this is a more likely and successful way of making more interest. But fan engagement, I think it's not going to happen. It's going to be very much one-to-one or just the coaching team and the player. Okay, other things that are really important is that if you're going to have coaching on the court, as much as you want, signaling all the time, talking back and forth all the time, then that's going to make that, hey, now should the coaches get half the pay now? I'm really sure that all the players are not going to be happy on that type of idea, because if you're saying that this should be all happening, that means that they're starting to be very important too. Okay, so then you've got to fit their name on the trophy, you've got to pay them a lot more money. I really don't see that this is how the players are going to be thinking about it. So, or at least approaching to the similar amount of money, because now you're making it a team sport. So somehow our individual singles match has become a whole team thing. It just doesn't work in any shape or form. So if you're coaching really well, then for me, that means you're trying to make the person a better player, a better person. You're teaching them really well so they understand concepts that they can apply in life and of course in all different situations in the match, that you shouldn't need to be saying anything more to them if you're teaching really efficiently, effectively, because you've got all the time in the world to teach them all this stuff before they go on for their matches. Okay? So make it all about the players, not about the coaches. Other very, very important thing is for the future of tennis is that when things happen at the professional level, that is the leader and everything follows on from there. So what will be happening then is, if this is allowed to happen all the time after the trial, is that then it's going to be that in the junior tennis, and you're trying to be a junior tennis player, whether it's in your national rankings or trying to be playing the ITF juniors, or you're young and you're trying to come up at the bottom of the professional tennis, it means basically only the people with the most amount of money who can afford to pay the coaches, the best coaches, more money and to be with them for more weeks and more time on the tour, for more matches on the court all the time, they're going to have all the huge advantage. So tennis shouldn't be about who's got the most money, and things that could happen would be that, for example, sporting international management groups who are running the player side and the money financial side of players, they can start be having, because they're such big companies, have so money, they can be starting to make like a dictatorship in the tennis forum. They will be doing such things I foresee as them, actually the management company hiring coaches, and then that you need to sign on only with their company and no competitor companies, because only then will you be able to afford to have one of their coaches as part of the deal to be with you without paying the full price of what you would have to do if you're doing it independently. So a lot of things are going to happen, and for making it who's got the most money, and then children having this problem where they've got some struggle that it's not about if they're good or not or they deserve, it's going to be about who's got the most money and who can afford the most amount of coaches and who can get the most exports and who can, you know, go and bid. And when they're one of the most famous coach in the world of one of the pro tennis players is having a week rest, you might be then approaching him to do your tournament with you and paying a high amount of money. So then some kid who's really good and whatever else and earns to be there is playing someone and playing, and of course can't afford such, is playing a game, and the other kid, he's looking across and the other kid's constantly getting coaching by one of the most known faces or famous tennis coaches in the world whilst he's trying to battle. It just doesn't, it's not right. Yeah, it's got to be all about the players, one against one. Okay, there's lots of information there, but for me, we really got to talk up now and put a lot of opinion out there and pressure towards professional tennis to say, no, this trial is not what we want. We want to see the sport as it was, where it's one against one. You know, one of the things I'm always saying is if you're really good or you want to be really successful or both of these things, then you need to have something that you're better at or you're more unique that only you are doing. So this would be also in terms of tennis is, if you're one of the only sports in the world where they're not allowed to have any coaching and you've got to go and, you know, learn things and learn how to think for yourself and work out all the concepts that you've been taught and do it under pressure yourself, okay? Versus so many other sports where they're always allowed to have breaks and communicates and time out with the coach. Then this thing where we've got this beautiful thing that it's very unique, where you do all your stuff and then you go out there and do the ultimate test. It's up to you, perform. These are the things that you need to keep. They're not a matter of falling as in one of the sheep and copying the same rules as everybody else. These are the things that you've got to really value and keep. Okay, that's my opinion. Leave your opinion with a comment below. I look forward to reading all your stuff. Come on, let the players play. Get rid of the coaches.